Hey there, friend. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whichever side of the world you are in right now. Welcome to this podcast, Vodcast, YouTube cast, however you want to call it. The title of our segment is Beyond the Daily Grind. It was titled this way because we firmly believe that beyond the daily grind, there is meaning, purpose, and a way to live life in spite the difficult, the routine, and even the monotonous. Right now, we are still on our series, Run in Such a Way, and this is based on 1 Corinthians 9:24 to 27. And the title of our message for today is Press On and Through. Very timely. And we are talking about the role of perseverance. Here we go. Let's define perseverance first. So, perseverance, by definition, is the patient endurance of hardship. It is also persisting in a state of enterprise in spite of difficulties and discouragement. So, this is what perseverance is. You're experiencing hardship, but you're enduring it. And you're enduring it patiently. And you're persisting in such a way. There is a consistency going on in here with the way you are coping and dealing with the situation, even when there is difficulties and discouragement going on. Where are you right now, my friend? Perseverance is not for the faint of heart. It is not for the people pleasers. And it is not for the prideful. Let me explain. So it's not for the faint of heart, people pleasers, and certainly not for the prideful. Why? Why did I say that? Because to be able to move forward in the race God has placed you in called life, in this life, many times you're going to have to toughen it up, buttercup. I'm just telling you. You're going to have to keep going no matter what kind of boo-boo you have. Whether it's a scrape, sprain, cut, bruise, no matter how wounded you feel and how hurt you are, you're going to have to keep going. It is not for the people pleasers as well. Because even when you're doing a good or right thing, not everyone will have a good thing to say about it, right? But at some point, you're going to have to decide not to listen to those bashers, haters, or naysayers. No matter when you hear the loud boos, the laughter, and even the mockings in the background. Right? And also, and very importantly, it is not for the prideful. Why did I say that? For the prideful will refuse to adapt or change their way so that they can get back in the race and finish. Because sometimes you have to be willing to learn when you make a mistake. And who doesn't make a mistake, right? Sometimes you will need to adjust your strategy when it's not working. Have you been in such of those times wherein things are not working the way you hope it would, right? So you got to think and be able to adjust your strategy when it's not working. And the prideful will refuse to do that. Don't teach me. Don't tell me. They don't want to hear any of it. So victory is not going to happen when someone is being prideful. It takes humility and sometimes a lot to accept your frailty and limitations and move from there. The good news is, are you ready? No matter how hard your challenges might be right now, let me tell you, you can do it. You can get to the other side, believe me. You just have to keep going. Galatians 6:9 says, "Let us not grow weary in well-doing, for in due time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up." What is the encouragement? Don't grow weary. What's the promise? For in due time we will reap a harvest. But what is the condition? If we don't give up. So you're telling me, what should I do? Maybe you're asking that question, right? Okay, this is what's happening. So what should I do? Here's what you do. 1, you press on. What does it mean to press on? You make up your mind, you go, and you keep going. Let me restate that, okay? Pressing on means you make up your mind, you go, and you keep going. Frank Abagnale Sr. is a writer, a well-known writer. And in his writing, he told a story of 2 mice who fell in a bucket of cream. And the first mouse was struggling so hard. Just imagine, okay? There's 2 mice on a bucket of cream, and they're swimming there. They're swimming. And the first one was struggling so hard and swimming until he gave up, okay? He gave up and drowned. But the second one said, "Oh no, I'm not gonna die in this bucket of cream. I gotta get out of this bucket of cream." So this second mouse won't quit. He struggled so hard that eventually he churned that cream into a butter. Okay, because of that swimming, it churned the cream into a butter. It became a butter. And because it solidified, he was able to crawl out. And that saved the mice, right? So that's the mindset. You have to, no, I'm not dying in this bucket of cream. I'm not dying in this hole. I'm gonna be going. I'm going to keep going. I'm moving on. I'm pressing on. Brian Welch, he is a well-known musician. He was one of the singers and founder of the famous metal band named Korn. And this man became a believer of Christ. And in the process, he left the group. Okay. And when he was interviewed, he was asked what made him decide to turn around. So he became a follower of Jesus Christ. And his past being involved in a metal band, there was lots of things going on there, including drug addiction, okay? But he left that lifestyle. And when he was asked, "So what made you turn around?" He said there was a time when he saw his daughter singing. And when he heard his daughter sing, one of the songs of the corn that made him really think deep and decide not to keep going in that way. Because he said, here's my daughter, he's singing our song, and the lyrics of the song was so bad. And what am I teaching my daughter? He said, what am I raising my daughter? In what kind of environment am I raising my daughter? So that made him decide to change his course and go on a different way, right? Sometimes we have to do that. In the race that we are running, there will be times when we will be called to make up our mind. And when we face difficulties, we're going to have to make up our mind. Am I going to stay here? If you fall, if you get tired, you get knocked out, somebody bumps on you. So what happens? Does the race stop here? Or am I going to keep going? Pressing on, you're going to have to make up your mind and decide, I'm going to keep going, right? But it's not just keep on going. If you're going on the other way, the race is this way, and you're going backwards in your life, instead of improving, you're disproving. And I know there's no such language as that, right? But I'm just trying to make my point here, right? Instead of improving, you're going backwards. And there's something you have to think about. Just like Brian Welch of Korn, right? I can't live this way. I'm going to make up my mind. Many of the drug addicts, when you interview them, they will say, I don't want to die in this situation. So I'm making up my mind. I'm not going to be staying in this place. I want to live. So that helps them change their course. When the coronavirus hit, we were in a lockdown. And the statistics showed that there were a rise in the cases of suicides, depression, anxiety, drug dependency, and people falling back from their progress, back into those dark habits that they have. Okay. Many people were hit with fear and anxiety, and literally very fearful about contracting the disease, to the point of they're really getting paranoid already. And me, I didn't have to worry about that thing. But then I got hit in another area too, an area of weakness that I have. And when that happened to me, I thought, well, this is probably it. I'm done. But then I decided, no. I made up my mind, devil, you're not going to have the final say on this. You're not going to have the final say in my life. I have decided, I have made up my mind. Whether I win, I lose. Whether I succeed, I fail. The Lord will always get the glory in my life. So I thought, I'm not going to be staying in this pit. I'm getting out of here. And I'm getting out of here alive. And as I climbed in that hole in my own personal situation, I climbed out of that hole. And glory to God. It's like a fever that was already broken. And if you see me now, you can tell. Like compared to a few months ago, you would see me. You can tell something's not right. by the way I look. Some people, not some people, but you know how you can tell sometimes when you see someone, something's not right. It's very obvious, but it comes out of your countenance. But next time they see me, ah, I'm out of that pit. Praise the Lord. And not only out of the pit, now I'm helping you cry out. I'm helping you to make that same decision to run your race and win, not to let yourself be on this spot if you are in right now with your challenges, especially if you are really on a very difficult spot, whether if you're doing or not. But I'm telling you, make up your mind, friend. I'm going and I'm going to keep going. That's the way. You press on. The second thing is not just pressing on, but I would like to encourage you to press through. Okay, so how is pressing on, pressing through different from each other? So in pressing on, you make up your mind, you go, you keep going. And in pressing through, you have this understanding that there is an obstacle that you need to circumvent. Or maybe you have to jump through the hurdles and break through a wall if you have to. So it's not just making up your mind, going and keep going. Sometimes, oops, there's something in front of me. There's a hurdle. There's an object blocking my way. There's a wall. It's an up step from the previous one because pressing on requires your decision, determination, and action. But pressing through, you have to incorporate strategy. You have to use wisdom. And then you have to give it your best fight. So when you look at it, how can I get through this thing in front of me? That's question. Can I go around it? You assess your situation. Do I jump or do I climb it? Or am I going to have to break through it? Example of going around it. Okay. A few days ago, we were on a trip and coming back, I was asked to share to the congregation about how God has helped me and dealt with me in my situation. So I was supposed to share my own testimony the following day. And on the way back home, our car wouldn't start. So I'm at the back sitting and they were thinking how we're going to make this thing run. And they were having that problem. And me, I was just sitting down there and I was like, you take care of that. I'm going to take care of what I'm doing. I know we'll go home because I'm supposed to speak. I'm supposed to share something. So I'm going to be going home. I just don't know how, but you figure it out. It's like that. Mine was just a faith deposit. And so they opened up the trunk. And you know how the cars are made nowadays. Ours came from a dealership and they had something on top of the battery wherein you can't open it. It's something you can't just fool with or touch, right? Or deal with if you want to replace the battery on your own. So to cut the story short, you have to bring it to the dealership for the battery to be replaced instead of you being to be able to replace your own battery. So what are we going to do here? They can't access the battery panel. They can't even jump it so it would start. So it's funny that one of the boys thought about it and poured Coke on the top. And what happened was there was an erosion going on, and it melted the erosion, and suddenly the car started running. So that's what I meant by going around it. Yeah. Okay, we can't get to it. We can't open this thing, take the top part off so we can access the battery. They can't do those things. But suddenly, an idea came up. Okay, how about I pour Coke in this? Because somewhere he must have thought you pour Coke and it will erode it. You must have seen it somewhere, right? You know those posts that they would have, they mix Mentos and Coke. No, don't do that. They said you're not supposed to mix Coke and Mentos. It's going to be a disaster. Anyway, so the Coke, they were doing a lot of experiments on how to get rid of the corrosion when you pour Coke, cleaning the toilet. So in our case, that's what the one of the boys did. Poured Coke and the erosion was dealt with. It was a temporary fix, but it did take care of our situation at the time, and we were able to go home. So this is just one of those things, right? That when you see, okay, how do I deal with this situation? I really, really need to get home. Is there a way I can go around it? And in our case, we were able to. It might just be minor, but in some other ways, even when we face difficulties, God always provides a way, whether it's around it, whether you have to jump above it, or you have to go through it, push through, right? Press through. But still, there is a way. God will always provide a way. So that's one. That's an example of going around the situation. Next is jumping the hurdles. If there's one good thing about hurdles, it's something you're already familiar with. I've been through this situation before, right? You see the hurdle and that's what you think. I've seen this. I've been through this before. So maybe now you can deal with the same or familiar situation better. Or take mistakes, for example. Maybe because you've been through the same mistake or failure, now you will respond differently or better, or even better. In your mind, I jumped this hurdle before, so I'll be able to jump it this way this time, right? Or since you did your training the last time, you were disciplined, and now you see this hurdle and you think, piece of cake, I'll just jump the same way I did the last time. And because you put in that training, it will really be easy this time because you trained to do it, right? You disciplined yourself to do it. So when this familiar thing happened, you know how to deal with it. And it wasn't as difficult as you thought. So you see what I mean? There's a way you can jump that hurdle. And last, and the toughest one is breaking through. Just realize this. You don't need to break through if there isn't any wall or anything super difficult to break through, right? You only need to break through when there's something really going on there. That's really tough. Now, this type of challenges are humongous, that it may take time. Sometimes it could drain your energy, and sometimes until you're holding by the thread and you're about to give up, almost about to give up. And it's going to require all the fight in you. Let me tell you what, this is the hardest one, or probably one of the hardest challenges. But with God's help, when you're done breaking through, it will be one of the best stories you will tell in your life. You better believe me on that. Romans 5:4-5 says, we also glory in our sufferings, because we know that suffering produces perseverance, perseverance character, and character hope, and hope does not put us to shame. I know this from experience. When I saw that meme that went out of Facebook on Marty and Dr. Brown, I think that's Dr. Brown, help me out, Back to the Future, okay? The scientists there. And there was a meme, they were talking to each other. He was giving instruction where he's supposed to go. And he said to Marty on the meme, Marty, wherever you have to go, don't go to 2020. Do you feel that way? I don't know. Some people have their best year this year. I know, but for me, yeah. If I could be, if I could go back to the future like Marty does, I probably wouldn't even dare to knock on the door of 2020. I just keep it all together. But then God has a different plan and a purpose. And yeah, we go through it, you know, but we will also, by God's grace, we get out of it. By God's grace, we are able to stand and keep running the race. By God's grace, here I am. I am breaking through. That's a decision. That's my faith decision. I am breaking through. And for me personally, with what I have experienced, the good thing that happened in my case is I came out of the end of that tunnel having a deeper understanding and acceptance of who I am and what I am in Jesus Christ and what He has done for me. I also learned that peace can be a powerful weapon. In the time right now where people are angry at each other, even with all the politics and the bickering, right? Peace is a powerful weapon. The Beatitudes say, blessed are the peacemakers, right? For they shall be called sons of God. That's a proof that there's something of the God nature in you. When you choose the road of peace instead the road of war, right? When you choose love over hate, over unforgiveness, that's the God in you, working in you. So in my own experience, that has been true. I learned that peace can be a powerful weapon. I also learned the role of humility and accepting responsibility. I've learned that God is in control of my situation, of the situation. I've learned the importance of forgiving others. There's a lot more that I have learned. But another is that I have been reminded that battles are won on my knees. What I cannot affect in the natural realm, I can change through the spiritual realm when I pray. Then I see it manifest in the natural realm, meaning I see it come to pass, whatever it is I have prayed for. Today, whatever situation you find yourself in, let me tell you, I want to encourage you. Please don't give up. Don't look at the entirety of your life according to this one tough segment you are having. Okay? Not because you have this bad segment going on right now, that doesn't mean it should define the entirety of your life, of your character, right? Of your how you're supposed to be known, of your dreams and everything. This is just one segment, friend. Okay? Don't give up. Come back to the reason why you are running, why you should keep going, and you press on. And if you find yourself standing in the front of the mountain, when you try to move forward and you see a big mountain, and so now what am I going to do? Then you step back, assess your situation. James 1:5 says, if any one of you lacks wisdom, you should ask God, who gives generously to all without finding fault, and it will be given to you. You just need to pray, friend. If you've forgotten, pray. Because that's the promise in God's word. If you lack wisdom, all you have to do is ask, and He will give it to you generously. It says here, without finding fault. He's not going to give it to you and say, because I told you and this and that, right? It's not going to be not blaming. But here, you need wisdom here. So, without finding fault, and it will be given to you. I want you to assess your situation. Is it something that I can circumvent? Can I go around it? Is there another way? If there is, then be patient. You already have the possible solution. Just follow through and see. If you say nope, it's not, then is it a hurdle to jump? If you say yes, and it feels like you're miles worth of hurdles, seems like, and have to jump, then jump it. Combat Carl said to Jesse in Toy Story of Terror, I like watching even movies no matter what, and then you get a lesson out of it. So here, Combat Carl says to Jesse, when they were trying to escape captivity, he said, remember your training. You've seen this before, right? You know how to jump this again. You just need consistency. Stick to what you've learned the past season and use that knowledge to jump this hurdle before you. It may be hard, but this time it's easier too because you've seen this before. Or somehow you've got some form of training. It might have a little tweak to it, right? But it's something you can deal with, right? You just have to jump and see how you're going to do it. Now, if you're like Jessie, to whom all these are new, she answers, but I don't have the training. Combat Carl then says to her, well, forget about that. When Combat Carl gets stuck in a jam, he says to himself, Combat Carl never gives up. Combat Carl finds a way. So what's it mean? Be ready to jump and stride and jump again. Give it all you've got. Psalm 18, 28 to 29 says, "For you, O Lord, my light, my lamp, my God lights up my darkness. For in you I can charge an army, and with my God I can scale a wall." Through whom? Through God. I can charge an army. With my God, I can scale a wall. I can jump that wall. I can scale it. Doesn't matter how high it is. And last, should you find yourself in a situation that seems hopeless or nearly impossible, or you're at your wit's end and you're about to give up, look up. Psalm 123, 1 to 2 says, "Where does my help come from? My help comes from the Lord, the maker of heaven and earth." Sometimes God will allow that. He will allow that we be backed up against the wall, right? So that we will remember that ultimately our strength is not enough. We need Him. Sometimes it's in those, it's special because that's the time you remember, I can't do this on my own. I need you, God. Right? And when we ask, He is willing to help and give us the strength we need, the wisdom we need, the equipment we need, and even the supernatural help we need to be able to break through what is in front of us. Philippians 4:13 says, "I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength." He didn't say, "I can do some things. I can do a few things. I can do most things." No, it says, "I can do all things." That includes even the impossible, even the most difficult, even to the point of hopeless. I will break through. I will get through it, right? With God's help, with Christ's help to us. Forget what is behind, strain toward what is ahead. Press on toward the goal to win the prize for which God has called you heavenward in Christ. Press on, my friend, and press through. God bless you, and follow our next episode here on Beyond the Daily Grind.